The morning sun streamed through the large studio windows of the Lorraine show set in London as the audience buzzed with anticipation for a special appearance by one of Britain's most cherished national treasures. Dame Judi Dench, the legendary actress whose career spans decades of unforgettable performances from Shakespearean stages to blockbuster films like the James Bond series where she portrayed the formidable M, had graciously agreed to sit down for what everyone expected to be a warm and celebratory chat. Lorraine Kelly, the longtime host known for her friendly Scottish charm and approachable interviewing style, welcomed the audience with her usual bright smile and enthusiastic energy. The set was adorned with fresh flowers and comfortable armchairs positioned perfectly for an intimate conversation, while the crew made final adjustments to the cameras and lighting to capture every moment in high definition for the millions tuning in across the UK and beyond. Little did anyone know that this seemingly routine segment would spiral into one of the most talked about television moments in recent memory, sparking debates about respect for elders in the industry, the boundaries of journalistic probing, and the fragile dynamics between celebrity guests and daytime hosts. As Judi entered the studio to thunderous applause, her elegant posture and warm smile masked the steely determination that had defined her professional life, a woman who had never shied away from speaking her mind even in the face of authority or adversity. The interview began innocently enough with questions about her latest projects and reflections on a lifetime in acting. But subtle undercurrents of tension soon emerged as Lorraine's queries took on a sharper edge, delving into topics that felt increasingly personal and unsolicited. Viewers at home sensed the shift immediately, with social media lighting up as clips began circulating even before the segment concluded, highlighting how quickly a lighthearted morning show could transform into an arena of unexpected confrontation. The atmosphere in the studio grew thick with unspoken expectations, as the audience leaned forward in their seats, unaware that they were about to witness a clash between two strong-willed women from different generations of British television and entertainment. Judi's reputation for wit and no-nonsense attitude had preceded her, yet even her most ardent fans could not have predicted the fiery exchange that would unfold, leaving the host momentarily speechless and forcing producers into damage control mode behind the scenes. This incident would later fuel countless discussions on talk radio, online forums, and even late-night comedy sketches, becoming a symbol for broader conversations about ageism, media ethics, and the right of public figures to defend their dignity when faced with what they perceive as condescension or disrespect. As the cameras rolled and the red light signaled they were live on air, Lorraine Kelly leaned in with her signature engaging demeanor and posed what started as a seemingly harmless question about Judi Dench's views on the evolving landscape of the film industry in her later years. However, the phrasing carried an undertone that suggested Judi's best days might be behind her, prompting the actress to raise an eyebrow ever so slightly in quiet disapproval. Judi responded with her characteristic poise and sharp intellect, drawing upon her vast experience to counter the implication gracefully at first, emphasizing that talent and passion know no age limit and citing examples from her recent roles that had garnered critical acclaim worldwide. The audience clapped appreciatively, but Lorraine pressed on, shifting to more personal territory by inquiring about Judi's health challenges and how they might affect her ability to commit to long-term projects. A line of questioning that many later criticized as crossing into insensitive territory given Judi's well-known struggles with macular degeneration, which she had publicly discussed with vulnerability and strength in previous interviews. The tension escalated when Lorraine made a lighthearted but poorly timed joke about retirement being the next logical step for someone of Judi's stature, which landed with a thud and elicited awkward murmurs from the crowd rather than laughter. Judi's expression hardened visibly as she straightened in her chair, her voice remaining calm yet laced with unmistakable authority as she reminded the host that she had earned the right to define her own career trajectory without external pressure or assumptions based solely on chronology. This exchange marked the turning point where polite conversation gave way to a more direct confrontation, with Judi eloquently articulating her frustration at being pigeonholed or patronized by someone who had not walked in her shoes through the highs and lows of a demanding profession. Producers in the control room exchanged worried glances, debating whether to cut to a commercial break early, but the segment continued unfolding in real time as millions watched transfixed at home. Social media exploded with divided opinions, some defending Lorraine's right to ask tough questions in the name of journalism, while others rallied behind Judi as a beacon of resilience against perceived ageist attitudes prevalent in media. The fiery nature of the dialogue intensified when Judi directly challenged Lorraine on the double standards applied to veteran female actors compared to their male counterparts, pointing out how icons like Sir Ian McKellen or Sir Patrick Stewart continued receiving accolades without similar scrutiny about their advancing years. This bold rebuttal hung in the air like a challenge, shifting the power dynamic in the studio and leaving Lorraine momentarily off balance as she struggled to regain control of the narrative. The confrontation reached its boiling point when Lorraine attempted to steer the discussion back to safer ground by referencing a recent tabloid story about Judi's personal life, a move that many viewers later described as opportunistic and lacking in empathy. Judi Dench, whose private life had always been guarded despite her public persona, responded with a measured but firm rebuke, asserting that such intrusions had no place in a respectful interview and that she expected better from a seasoned presenter like Lorraine. The studio audience, initially enthusiastic, now sat in stunned silence as the exchange grew more heated, with Judi's voice rising slightly to emphasize her points about dignity and the importance of focusing on artistic contributions rather than sensationalism. Lorraine, visibly flustered but attempting to maintain her professional composure, interjected with a defensive comment suggesting that public figures invite such scrutiny by virtue of their fame, which only served to fan the flames further. At this juncture, Judi delivered a poignant monologue about the sacrifices made throughout her career, the joy of continued creative work, and the disrespect inherent in reducing a lifetime of achievement to gossip or retirement speculation. Her words resonated deeply, drawing nods of agreement from segments of the audience and even some crew members who later admitted feeling uncomfortable with the direction the interview had taken. The tension peaked dramatically when Judi stood up from her chair mid-sentence, declaring that she would not tolerate being spoken to in such a manner and that the conversation had crossed unacceptable boundaries. This unexpected action sent shockwaves through the set, with cameras capturing the raw emotion as Judi gathered her belongings with deliberate grace and began walking toward the exit while still addressing the host directly. Lorraine called after her in a mix of surprise and attempted reconciliation, but the damage was done, leaving the host alone in the spotlight with a bewildered expression that would become memed endlessly online in the following hours. Security and producers rushed subtly into action to manage the situation without further disrupting the broadcast. But the abrupt departure had already etched itself into television history as one of the most unscripted and authentic moments of conflict ever aired. During daytime programming, viewers flooded phone lines and social platforms with reactions ranging from outrage at the perceived rudeness toward a national icon to praise for Judi's courage in standing her ground against what they saw as bullying tactics disguised as friendly banter. This incident sparked immediate calls for apologies from the show's network and broader reflections within the media industry about how hosts should navigate interviews with revered figures who command immense respect and have little tolerance for perceived slights. Following Judi Dench's dramatic exit from the Lorraine Kelly show set, the atmosphere in the studio transformed from one of lively anticipation to complete bewilderment as the cameras continued rolling for a few awkward seconds before cutting to an emergency commercial break. Lorraine Kelly, usually unflappable in her role as the consummate professional daytime host, sat momentarily frozen in her chair with a flushed face and wide eyes, clearly unprepared for the intensity of the confrontation that had just unfolded before a live audience and millions at home. Producers scrambled behind the scenes to salvage the remainder of the episode, inserting pre-recorded segments and filler content while urgently discussing damage control strategies including potential statements to the press and internal reviews of interview preparation protocols. Social media platforms ignited instantaneously with hashtags like #JudiDenchWalksOff and #LorraineConfrontation trending at lightning speed, as users shared fragmented clips captured on phones by audience members and debated fiercely about who bore responsibility for the fiery clash. Supporters of Dame Judi hailed her as a hero for refusing to be diminished or patronized, emphasizing her long-standing contributions to British culture and the arts. while defenders of Lorraine argued that tough questioning is part of the job and that celebrities should expect accountability even in lighter formats. News outlets across the UK and internationally picked up the story within minutes, with headlines amplifying the drama and speculating on underlying tensions possibly rooted in generational differences or past media interactions. Judi, meanwhile, was escorted calmly from the building by her team, later issuing a brief statement through her representatives expressing disappointment at the tone of the interview but reaffirming her love for engaging with audiences under mutually respectful circumstances. This event prompted soul-searching within ITV and other broadcasters about training for hosts on handling high-profile guests sensitively, particularly those with storied careers who might react strongly to certain lines of inquiry. In the days that followed, talk shows and podcasts dissected the confrontation frame by frame, analyzing body language, word choice, and the subtle power plays at work during those critical minutes. Public opinion polls conducted informally online showed a significant majority siding with Judi, viewing her departure not as rudeness but as a principled stand against what many perceived as condescension toward older women in entertainment. The incident also revived discussions about ageism in the media, with commentators drawing parallels to similar past events involving other veteran performers who had pushed back against reductive narratives. Lorraine Kelly eventually addressed the matter in a subsequent broadcast, offering a somewhat conciliatory tone while maintaining that her intentions had been positive, though critics accused her of downplaying the impact of her questions. Overall, the confrontation served as a stark reminder of the unpredictable nature of live television and the enduring strength of icons like Judi Dench who continue to command respect well into their later years. In the aftermath of the explosive confrontation on Lorraine Kelly's show, the entertainment world buzzed with analysis and speculation about what truly transpired behind the polished facade of morning television. Clips of Judi Dench's fiery responses and subsequent walk-off circulated virally across platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter, amassing millions of views within hours and generating heated comment sections where fans passionately defended their favorite icon while critiquing the host's approach. Industry insiders whispered about possible pre-existing friction or inadequate briefing for the segment, suggesting that producers might have encouraged more provocative angles to boost ratings in a competitive daytime slot. Judi Dench's representatives emphasized in follow-up interviews that the actress holds deep respect for journalistic integrity but draws firm lines when conversations veer into territory that feels diminishing or overly intrusive, particularly regarding personal health or retirement pressures that she considers irrelevant to her professional vitality. Lorraine Kelly, known for her relatable persona and successful career interviewing everyone from royalty to reality stars, faced a wave of mixed feedback from loyal viewers who appreciated her usual warmth but felt she had misjudged the room with a guest of Judi's caliber. This event highlighted broader issues within British media regarding the treatment of aging celebrities, especially women who have broken barriers throughout their careers only to encounter subtle biases later on. Commentators noted how Judi's graceful yet assertive handling of the situation exemplified the very qualities that made her a dame of the British Empire and a beloved figure across generations, from theatre enthusiasts to casual filmgoers who grew up with her Bond appearances. The network issued a carefully worded statement acknowledging the lively discussion and expressing admiration for Dame Judi's contributions, though it stopped short of a full apology, which only fueled further public discourse. Podcasts dedicated entire episodes to dissecting the psychology of such on-air moments, exploring how power dynamics shift when a guest refuses to conform to expected politeness. In the weeks that followed, Judi Dench returned to her work with renewed focus, participating in theater projects and film promotions where she subtly referenced the importance of mutual respect in all interactions, earning even greater admiration from peers and audiences alike. Lorraine's show continued with adjusted formats that appeared more cautious in guest selection and questioning styles, reflecting an internal recalibration prompted by the high-profile incident. Ultimately, this confrontation transcended mere television drama to become a cultural touchstone, illustrating how one unscripted exchange can illuminate societal attitudes toward respect, resilience, and the right to self-determination in the public eye. It served as a powerful narrative about not underestimating the depth and fire that seasoned professionals bring to any conversation, regardless of the setting's intended lightness. Reflecting on the entire saga of Judi Dench's memorable appearance and departure from Lorraine Kelly's program, it becomes clear that the event encapsulated larger truths about fame, media responsibility, and personal agency in an era of constant scrutiny. The fiery confrontation, though brief and real-time, resonated far beyond the studio walls, prompting renewed appreciation for Judi's unyielding spirit and her refusal to accept anything less than dignified treatment after a lifetime of excellence in her craft. Fans organized online petitions and tribute videos celebrating her career milestones, from her Oscar-winning role in Shakespeare in Love to her voice work and stage triumphs, using the incident as a rallying point to affirm that icons deserve celebration rather than interrogation about their limitations. Media analysts used the moment to critique the formulaic nature of many talk shows, advocating for more thoughtful preparation and genuine curiosity over gotcha-style questioning that risks alienating valuable guests. Lorraine Kelly, resilient as ever, leveraged the controversy to engage in on-air discussions about interview ethics, subtly evolving her style while maintaining her core appeal to daytime audiences seeking relatable content. The story even inspired satirical sketches on comedy programs and thoughtful essays in newspapers examining gender and age dynamics within the performing arts. Judi Dench herself emerged from the episode with her reputation not only intact but enhanced, as many saw her actions as a masterclass in self-advocacy delivered with intelligence and class. In interviews granted afterward, she spoke philosophically about the unpredictability of live encounters and the importance of boundaries, inspiring aspiring actors and public figures to prioritize authenticity over performative niceties. The incident also boosted viewership for subsequent episodes of Lorraine as curiosity seekers tuned in hoping for more sparks. Though the show settled back into its familiar rhythm with heightened awareness of guest sensitivities, broader societal conversations emerged around how society values its elders in creative fields and the need for media to adapt to an aging population of influential talents who refuse to fade quietly into the background. This clash between two formidable women ultimately enriched the cultural landscape by reminding everyone that true legends like Dame Judi Dench carry an inner strength forged through decades of dedication, capable of transforming a routine interview into a defining statement on respect and resilience. As time passed, the event faded from daily headlines but remained a referenced anecdote in discussions about television history, serving as a testament to the enduring power of principled stands in the face of perceived disrespect.